Hey, welcome to part 2 of our remix summer series. I'm calling it That Moment When because we're all faced with that moment when we can start drama or stop drama, or that moment when we can do good or do evil. In the last video, I introduced Summer. Summer is an imaginary girl with very real problems, and we're going with her through a pretty normal day, and when we left her, she was running late because she didn't master her morning and she hit the snooze too many times. Anyways, her mom had given her 3 things to get done before she went to work in order for her to hang out with her friends after work, but she only got 2 of those things done. Now, let's get back to the story. So, Summer is rushing. She's getting out of the shower and she bursts through the door with power. She shuffles to the room to get dressed. And when she turns around to go back and brush her teeth, she finds that the door to the bathroom is shut and locked. Her brother, Winter, is now occupying the bathroom. This is not good. She knocks politely and she says, "Winter, how long are you going to be?" The muffled reply is 5 minutes. "What are you even doing in there?" she asks. "I'm taking care of business, Summer," he replies. And then she says, "Do you have your Game Boy in there?" "What if I do?" "Winter, I have to go to work." At this point, Summer's brain is about to explode. But then she remembers some advice that she read like a while ago, where it says, if you're going to blow up, slow up. So she takes a deep breath, says a quick prayer, and then says calmly, "Winter, please go as quick as you can. I have to collect my pens and my thank you cards. After I do that, I'm going to come back to brush my teeth. Please be done." "Okay," he says. So she goes to her desk in her room, and she grabs her cinch sack, and then she throws her unicorn thank you cards in her bag. And then she looks for her shiny gel pens that she got for her birthday, and she wants to use them for writing the thank you cards. And then she can't find the pens. They're not on her desk, and they're not in the pen drawer in the office, and they're not in her book bag. Where could they be? They're not where she left them 2 nights ago when she was using them for the first time, when she was writing the first half of her thank you notes. And then the thought hits her like a thunderstorm. Her sister, her younger sister, had asked to borrow the pens when she first got them, and Summer had said, "No, absolutely not." Now Summer knows. She knows exactly where those pens are. So she goes to her sister's room, and the door is shut. She tries the door. It's locked. She needs those pens! She wants those pens! Anyways, her sister has the pens. She knocks. She wants to treat her sister with love. She wants to treat her sister with love. Really, it's been really difficult recently. It's been so bad that she actually talked to her youth leader about it, about getting along better with her sister. And her youth leader actually said this: look, you need to be quick to forgive. You need to always be ready to negotiate, and you need to make sure that you never start the drama. So Summer remembers that, and then her sister opens the door, and Summer looks into her room, and there are her pens spread out all over her sister's desk. "Spring," she says, "those are my pens. I did not give you permission to use those. What are you doing with them?" Spring tells her, "I'm using the pens to write letters to our compassion child." Summer knows that she doesn't have enough time to explain how to work out and use other people's stuff. But she needs those pens because she wants to use them for her cards later. And so she says, "Spring, I need those pens. I'm going to use them while I'm at work. How about I leave five of those pens here with you, and then I take the rest with me?" Spring thinks that's a great idea. She chooses her favorite, and then Summer takes all of the rest of them, puts them in her cinch back, and then rushes to the bathroom, which thankfully is no longer occupied by the busy brother. And now she brushes her teeth, and then she rushes out the door at 10:50 with 10 minutes to get to work, which is only 5 minutes away. Next week, come back and find out what happens at work. But for this week, here's the truth. Drama's gonna happen. It's what you do with drama or how you respond to drama that shows what kind of character you have. It shows what kind of person you are. And in this story, Summer won the drama mama battle. And I'm so proud of my imaginary friend. But what about us? What about you and me? And what about that moment when we're faced with drama? What kind of people are we going to be? Are we going to keep the drama going? Or are we going to stop drama in its tracks? So I want to look at 2 scripture passages, maybe 3, that I think are helpful to understanding how to make the most of that moment when. But before I do that, if you hear nothing else today, I want you to hear this. If you want to win the battle against drama, invest in peace, not in anger. I'll say it again. Invest in peace, not in anger. There's a famous guy in the Old Testament, King Solomon. You might have heard of him. He was like one of the richest and wisest dudes in Israel's history. And he wrote some pretty cool stuff. And one of the books that he wrote was called Ecclesiastes. And I like to call what Solomon gives us wisdom nuggets, like just sweet goodness of wisdom. And so there's a wisdom nugget I want to look at today. It's in Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 9. So turn there. One of the wisdom nuggets that he gives us is right here. It says this: do not be quickly provoked in your spirit, for anger resides in the lap of fools. Okay. Solomon is encouraging his readers and me and you, and he's saying this: don't be the kind of person who flies off the handle. Don't be the kind of person who loses their cool over stupid stuff. Stop. Shh. Ha! Don't be that kind of guy. Don't be that kind of gal. Solomon knows that uncontrolled anger almost always leads to more drama, to more mess. Think about it. Think about uncontrolled anger in your own life. Does it bring good things, or does it cause even worse things? Most of the time, it causes worse things. So it's funny because Solomon says this: fool keeps anger in their lap. The King James Version actually says this: anger rests in the bosom of fools. Solomon gives us this image of a fool as a person who keeps anger, like almost like a pet, someone who feeds it or cares for it. And really, anger sometimes is a comforting thing. I mean, think about it. Anger is your heart wanting to prove that you're right more than anything else, or that anger is like your desire to get back at someone, desire for vengeance, desire to show that you matter. But look, the battle against anger starts before the drama begins. Most anger, like I said, does not lead to righteous behavior. Most anger leads to more drama, more mess to clean up. There's this guy in the New Testament named James. He was one of the disciples, and he wrote a letter to the church 2,000 years ago with some incredible tips for me, and maybe even for you, and some tips that I think Summer followed in our little story. And so he said in his very first chapter, my dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. And listen to what James says about anger. For man's anger does not bring about the righteous life that God requires. You see, James knew that anger was a real issue. And so he said, don't be quickly angered, because anger does not work up the goodness that God desires. It doesn't bring joy or love or peace. As a matter of fact, actually, later in his letter, chapter 3, verse 18, James takes it a little further, and he says, peacemakers who sow in peace raise a harvest of righteousness. And here's what James is saying. You know how a farmer plants seeds with the hope of getting them to grow, right? Like you want a harvest of corn, you plant a bunch of corn kernels, and then you wait, and they grow, and then there's the corn, and then you can pop them, or you can make whatever you want with them. I love me some corn on the cob. Anyways, you don't get corn on the cob without planting the seeds for the corn. It's kind of the same way. You don't get peace unless you plant peace. At the same, you don't, if you plant anger, right? If you invest in anger, what are you going to get? If you keep anger as a pet, if you just hold it close, what are you going to get? Invest in peace, not in anger, all right? You have to make up your mind ahead of time to be a peacemaker. You have to decide in your heart and in your mind before the drama even happens that you're going to win the battle against drama. And so here's like six habits that people who overcome anger, I think, use. Number one, if you want to win the battle against drama, ask God for help. Seriously, look at your own life. Look at all the places where you struggle with anger. Who is it that you blow up at the most? Ask God for help with them. Say, God, this person really annoys me, or whatever. God, I need your help. I don't want to be the kind of person who quickly gets angered. It just makes things worse. Help. If you ask him, he's going to help you. All right? Second, the second thing, when you feel like you're going to blow up, slow up. Did you see what Summer did in the story? When she was feeling ready to blow up at her brother in the bathroom, she took a deep breath, she said a quick prayer, and then spoke calmly to her brother. When you feel like blowing up, slow it up, all right? Another thing, number 3, seek first to understand, then to be understood. I'll say that again. Seek first to understand, and then to be understood. This comes from a prayer that a saint wrote a long time ago, and that saint, Saint Francis of Assisi, he asked God for the grace to seek first to understand and then to be understood. This means that he was putting the other person before himself. He's putting the other person's needs and wants and interests in front of his own. This is God's way. And if you're wanting to stop drama, try to see things from the other person's perspective. And you're not in their head. The only way you're going to see things from their perspective is to ask them, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Tell me more, right? Kind of like what Summer did. What are you doing with these pens? Okay? This is God's way. Seek first to understand and then to be understood. Number 4, always be ready to forgive. How does forgiveness help with anger? Well, anger many times is holding on to the hurt that someone has done to you, right? It's like keeping it as a pet. But let's be honest, keeping anger as a pet is kind of like keeping a zombie pet. And you know what zombies do. Okay? So don't keep anger in your life. Forgiveness is letting the zombie pet go. All right? Always be ready to forgive. You're going to have to ask God for help to do that, right? All right. Number 5, always be ready to negotiate. And this is what I mean. Find ways where both of you can win, like what Summer did with her sister. Yes, Summer had to give up some of her pens, but she found out a way that both of them could win. She compromised. It's not always possible to compromise, but whenever it is possible, find a way to compromise. Find a way to negotiate. so that both sides win. Okay? And 6, just don't start drama, period. Invest in peace. Do stuff that helps others rather than instigates. Don't be the annoying sibling. Don't start drama, period. Invest in peace. Peacemakers are the people who sow peace, who do things that keep peace going. All right? So, do you want to be the kind of person who keeps the drama going, or do you want to be the kind of person who keeps peace flowing? My prayer is that you choose peace, and in Christ, man, peace overflows. He was the best peacemaker ever, and I want to be that way, and I want you to as well. Have a great week.